Hello, so my name's Sebastian, and this is kind of my video explaining about four main steps of teaching and how I would do a learning activity or how I would teach one. So, firstly, the four main steps of teaching are assessment of the learner, design instruction, teaching instruction, and feedback and evaluation. So, assessment of the learner is essentially gathering information, kind of what the student already knows, so kind of like a pretest. Design instruction is creating the actual teaching material while taking into consideration what would work for the students best. Teaching instruction is the actual teaching portion, so how the content is delivered, whether that's through kind of reading off PowerPoint, a lecture, homework, things like that. Feedback and evaluation is doing the final assessment on what the student understood, what they learned, kind of providing them with information on what they could do better, what they did well. So I would actually use these steps to create a learning activity by kind of asking the students in an interactive and engaging manner on what they know about the topic. So that would be the first part, kind of getting that pre-test, assessing what they would know. My design instruction would be to essentially kind of write a script on what I would be teaching and lecturing about. Hopefully, one that is engaging, effective, and interesting while still delivering the actual proper course material. I would do that mainly because I find kind of a lecture style to be the best for keeping at least my attention. I find that more effective than someone reading off a PowerPoint or than homework or just reading off a textbook. Um, so, gauging off of that, I would do mostly a lecture style to actually deliver that content. For feedback and evaluation, I would do mostly quizzes, kind of that gauge what was actually learned at the end of a lecture. So, not so much a memory test, but what was actually genuinely taken away from that lecture or from that class or end of the teaching session. So, how would I motivate my students? I would motivate my students with letting them know why what they are learning is important. I feel like that's kind of an overlooked aspect when attempting to motivate your students because many times people will be kind of sitting in a class or like in a math class, and there's always that one kid who will kind of raise their hand and be like, why are we learning this? Like, this is completely pointless. I think knowing why you're learning something is really important in motivating you. If you think, okay, well, yeah, I guess that is kind of important. Maybe I should learn this. That is very motivating than just the teacher says, well, it's going to be on the test. A lot more motivating than what that would be. So, what methods would I prefer to use to teach? I personally would prefer an online setup as I'm not a great public speaker. Um, Anything really standing up and presenting in front of a class, I cannot do. I start freezing up, stuttering, so on and so on. Um, what barriers do I foresee in instruction? I could see an online setup kind of being a bit of a not problem, but not being as effective as in person, as there are quite a few more variables and a lot more independence and discipline is kind of needed from the students to have an effective class. Since the teacher's kind of not always there to be telling them what to do, what they should do, what not to do. Um, do I foresee myself in academia in the future? I would say I do. If I'm ever able to actually improve upon my public speaking skills and my anxiousness when presenting, I would love to be in some sort of a teaching position as I think it's a really, really nice thing to share information that should be known.